Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stevie and today we're going to be making a giant lake on my island. I've never made one before and I am so excited that we're going to do this today. So let's get into it. So I originally kind of started a lake and it was a little too horizontally wide. Well, I guess it was wide instead of tall, I guess. But the way that I actually was envisioning it was more tall than wide. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I saw a video by Froggy Crossing from about 5 years ago, probably when, Animal Crossing first came out. And I couldn't understand why my lake was just looking a little funky. And it was because it was, wide instead of tall. So I need to redo basically everything that I did and filmed. So yeah, I am basically chopping down everything. I have to get rid of two top tier layers of cliffs, all these flowers. So it was a lot. It honestly took me maybe around 4 hours or so. I kind of did it on and off all day. And I'm just checking my map quite a few times here just to see where I want the lake to stop. So I basically want to be able to see the trees from the dock that I made, the little jutting piece of land sticking out from the beginning. But yeah, I actually end up making it a little too tall, I guess, and then you can't really see the trees. So then I have to go back and it's just a lot of back and forth. I didn't really believe Froggy Crossing when she said that it was going to take a long time, but it does. This honestly, I didn't realize how much time this was going to take, but I think it wouldn't have been as bad if I cleared all of this terraforming at the beginning or something, or just off camera. I just did it in some free time. And that way I would have had, a clean slate. But I had to go through, pick up all these trees, and I didn't chop them down because I do want to use the cedar trees in my build anyway. And I have stupid Clyde's house. I really just didn't want to move his house and then have to restart and everything, change the day and all that stuff. It was just so annoying. But his house was basically in the way the entire time. So you can just see me horribly terraforming around it. I'm just kind of doing a big giant square, and then I'm going to kind of chop it down and make it more oval later. But this right here that I'm working on is actually that wide kind of lake that I was making, and it just wasn't working out. And now I have to refill everything. It was a pain, but it came out really cute in the end. I didn't honestly do the right side of the lake. I only kind of built up the left side. So you'll see that later on. There's just a ton of terraforming. So I'm not sure if I'm going to cut some of it out, but I put it all on 5 times speed. So you don't have to sit through an insane amount of slow terraforming. So I basically did the bulk of the terraforming on the kind of left side over here, and now I'm just shaping it. The terraforming, I find it easier to, I guess, get a big giant shape like this and then go back and kind of shape the edges. And I kind of do it a few times because it just wasn't happy with it. It was just kind of a weird shape, but yeah, it ends up looking good in the end, which is what we care about. And I do have a tip. I know terraforming water can be really difficult, and I'm by no means really great at it, but I find that you can get really good edges if you're on, say, the inside where the water would be, but it's still grass, and then you terraform the outline from the inside, if that makes sense. It just makes the corners look a little better. And I figured that out while I was terraforming, and now I'm going to have to take down this whole top layer, basically. I didn't think I needed to, but I do. I sadly do. But I'm glad I didn't have to fill in all these holes, so you can just kind of chop them down and don't have to worry about them. But I actually end up just getting rid of this whole area. There were so many flowers that I had to take, and I just sold them all because I don't really like the pansies. I don't remember remember the other flower from my island, but it's like pansies and something else. I can't remember. But I wish they were like mums or something, or the hyacinths, just like a cuter flower so I could actually reuse them. But yeah, I sold everything. I did use the trees, like I said before. And yeah, I just can't believe how long, honestly, that this took. And here is me realizing, oh, I'm actually going to have to like flatten this entire level and probably the third tier on the left side. And I was contemplating maybe using it for like the campsite area if I kept the terraforming on the right hand side, but I'm going to have so much leftover space behind the little forest that I'm making that I think I might just put the campsite there. So that actually might be the next video that we see together. Okay, you can kind of see I gave up a little bit on all the terraforming because it was just so much and it's just so long. But I'm just trying to gauge like where I want this to end up here because I wanted it to be a nice shape, but I kind of made it a little bigger. But you can see there, like you couldn't really see that tree that I put down. So I'm actually going to have to make it a little shorter, which is fine because you can see in the bottom right, it is gigantic and I don't really need it to be that big. I've mentioned this before, but I've never actually finished a whole island, but I know you can kind of like run out of ideas. So I'm glad I have this kind of big filler item. I'm not 100% sure of everything that I'm doing on the island. I'm kind of like doing it as I go and I have some ideas, but I'm glad I wanted to do this lake because I've always wanted to. And like I said, it just takes up so much space and you don't have to think about every little square inch of your island. So highly recommend if you haven't built one, but remember that it literally takes forever. It's so long. So this tree is actually in a really good spot. So I'm just gonna like add a little bit more land around to make it like more of a circle, I guess. And then we're gonna be good to start plopping in trees. I was thinking that I was going to do like some stunted trees, which I still might. I want to do stunted cedar saplings or just like the little cedar trees. But for some reason, I bought the regular trees. So I don't know why I did that. And then I just picked up a bunch of regular trees because I ate all these apples. I don't know what I was thinking. I also didn't feel like time traveling that much. I just time travel at the end when I move Clyde's house. Yeah, you can see me here. I'm like, wait a minute. I wanted to do the little one, the cedars as the little ones. But I'm just trying to kind of like alternate the trees, I guess, so we can have a good variety. And I don't like having the same trees next to each other. Just kind of figuring that out in here. You can see me kind of struggling a little bit. But something else that I really liked that Froggy Crossing did was she added the regular trees, which sometimes I only want to use the cedars, but she mentioned during cherry blossom season that they'll be all pink and stuff. And I was like, all right, you got me. I'm going to put some of these trees in here. So we have them. And we're going to have some pink, cute little pinky trees in the springtime for like a week. I wish it was longer. I have these country fences and I'm just kind of putting down, I didn't put any pathing down yet, but I really like the country fence for this area. I think I might use it at the campsite as well in the back. And I have some trees or I don't know, plants, I guess, just to bring a little different color or something in with these trees. And I have some other little goodies, but not too many, to be honest. I found some leaf piles that I have a million of, and this extra red mum little seat. And this area, oh my gosh, I kept getting stuck here. Look at me. I could not get out. I was so annoyed. And then it wouldn't let me add more terraforming. Ugh. But then this kind of turned out really cute. So I was able to add this little like sticking out portion where I can put the like telescope on, or like the tourist, whatever it's called. So that turned out okay. That was kind of super annoying. And now I just got these like little tile things, the pathing, I can't ever remember what they're called, but I'm using these. They're actually from the same creator. So if I remember to find their like address thing, I'll put it in the description. But I'm also not great at pathing, so please do not judge me. I try my best. I try to just do like an outline, and I'm kind of following the curve of the lake. I'm not doing any kind of like super cool, intricate cottagecore kind of like pathing, I'm just following the lake and trying to make it a little interesting. Not really. You can see I have a lot of like straight paths, so I'm not the best at it, but I think it turned out really cute in the end. So if you're worried that it's not going to like look good or something, don't like worry about it. Just try it because, you know, I'm not that great at it, but I still think it turned out pretty good in the end. And then I added these cute little bricks over here. So it's kind of like a little offshoot path, I guess, so you can look out on the lake. And how I like to do the pathing, like I said, I like to follow the curve of the lake, and I'll do one side and then I'll go back and fill in. So I kind of have an outline and then I fill everything in, make sure it looks good, and then I move on to like another section. And I don't have like a set amount of tiles that I put down. I just kind of go by how I feel about it, if that makes sense. Over here it gets a little tricky because we actually go behind or like between some of the trees. And that was kind of a pain in the butt because I couldn't, you know, see what I was doing. But I think it turned out pretty cute. I'm going to definitely add more trees behind this area because it's going to be like foresty with the campsite and stuff. But I think the rest of the trees might be like cedar trees. And I actually just had a good idea. What if it was like a little logging site? Like it was a campsite, but there were like little lumberjack outfits and maybe pancakes because like, I don't know, lumberjack, flapjack. I don't know why that's what I think of. But anyway, like logs, log furniture, a bunch of cedar trees, some like axes and stuff. I think that would be really cute. I don't think I have a villager that matches that aesthetic, but I don't know. Maybe I'll find one. I have one more spot left for a villager on my island because the other one was taken by Hazel. But honestly, if you watched my last video, you know that I thought Hazel was the ugliest little being on the planet. But she's actually so sweet. And now I like kind of feel bad, but I wouldn't tell her that I feel bad. So, you know what I mean? It's funny to, you know, feel bad for a little inanimate, like Animal Crossing game character. I'm just throwing down some cute little pieces that I have, and I definitely need stuff on the left side over here because it's like lacking severely. And I need some trees, but I have these little saplings that I bought and couldn't figure out where to put them. So I'm going to put those down. Actually, I remember now I was buying flowers that I can put in around the left side of the lake. And also, I don't think you guys can hear it, but I can hear it through my headphones. There's a neighbor of mine that has a rooster, and they're technically, like, you're not allowed to have a rooster where I live. And it is the most annoying thing. I hope you can't hear it. I don't think you can. But he just goes off all day long. Like, I can't. He wakes me up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, all afternoon, and then he starts up again in the evening. And it is so annoying. And I think they have chickens too. Sometimes I think they're like my cat's making noise and it sounds like they're dying. But then I realize, oh, that's my neighbor's chickens or whatever they are. They kind of sound like geese or something. I have honestly absolutely no idea. I don't know what they are. So that was the whole build. I'm glad you guys made it to this point. If you're here watching, listening to me yap on and on for the past 20 minutes, but we're just going to go through a little walk of the lake I made. It is like 6 a.m. I just time traveled. I got rid of Clyde's house, but we are not fixing his stuff up today. We are moving on, and we are going to take care of the right side of the lake another day. We have the whole left side and back that we did, and we're just going to take a little loop around and see how adorable everything is. All right, so we start off on this cute little path with Hazel's house in our way, and we have some little country fences, some trees. It is mushroom season in Animal Crossing. So we have some mushrooms out. Of course, we have the little tourist telescope here. And we are just amazed at how absolutely beautiful the view looks. Then we can see the ocean beyond the lake. It's just so pretty. So up here, we have all of our trees that grew in. We have some pretty little flowers and bushes. And you go up here towards the right and the back of the lake, and we have this beautiful big open space where we're going to throw the campsite, possibly in the next video. I'm not sure yet. And here you can just kind of walk through the trees, have a nice little cozy morning walk with some leaves. And there's a little football there too, you know, if you want to throw it around. But this is the right side that we are completely ignoring. But yeah, I am so happy with how this turned out. Like, it literally took me forever. I'm so glad that it's over and it actually came out good. And I wanted to thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, if you liked the video, please definitely give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and leave me a comment down below about if you're going to build one on your island or if you probably will never do this. See you next time. Bye.